but the question is, what is a man today? Like,
Right.
like what takes
Bro,
its
I
place?
think about it. I really do, man, because, you know, I am the product of 100%. I won't say that because I won't call my dad like a stereotype, but my dad was 100% that 70s, 80s, cigarette smoking, Lincoln driving, fucking macho persona, you know, and, you know, it definitely informed how I looked at manhood, masculinity, and all of that, you know, growing up. And it's interesting because, you know, things I think have always changed through the kind of work I've done on myself, but it really changes once I had a kid. You know what I mean? And that's what makes because otherwise I wouldn't question like, oh, what makes a man? Like I understand like, you know, the way the world is now. So obviously you go like, well, this isn't acceptable. That's not acceptable. People don't want to hear this. People don't want to hear that. They don't want you to make a show about this. They don't want you to make shows that have this in it. That's different. That's just going like, that's looking at a new paradigm shift, right? And you go like, all right, but that doesn't mean that changes you. What changed me is looking at my son and going, how do I want to look at manhood now with the idea that I'm going to be helping to raise someone into a man? You know what I mean? What is
You are
that idea?
shaping the man.
Yes. What is that idea of manhood? You know, strength looks different now. Inner strength looks different now. The greatest thing ever is my kid's 5 years old. You know, I share custody with his mom. She has majority custody. You know, he's privileged in the sense he gets to go to this like cool little preschool, right? You know, but he's also got a lot of culture coming at him. You know, he's half New York Jew, but you know, he's also half Cuban and Mexican on his mom's side with a very big extended family that loves him. And he has like all this stuff going on, but he was staying with me a couple weeks ago and somebody had sent me one of those meditation bowls that you like ding. And he's like, I was like, oh, it's for meditation. He's like, oh, we should meditate. I was like, you know how to meditate? I swear to God, this is true shit. And I go, you know how to meditate? And he goes, yeah. I go, all right, like, we had showered up and getting ready for bed. I go, all right, let's go meditate. So he sits down and he's in like fucking lotus position. I swear to God, it's a true story. I'm not bullshit. You know, this little motherfucker's in lotus position, right? So I go,
And he's 5?
5 fucking years old. So I go, you know, and I go, you know how to do this? He's like, yeah. He's like, you got to light something. Let's get some smells. I was like, all right, I'll get a candle. And he's like, no, you have the other stuff. I go, incense. He goes, yeah. So, all right. So I get some incense, lighting. He's like this, you know, we start to do like the meditation thing, right? You know, he doesn't have like a long attention span. So he's like, all right, I'm done. I'm like, well, I'm done. I'm still going. Stop, right? Then afterwards, I'm like, maybe we should say a prayer. And he's like, yeah, you know, and he had been to like a Lutheran school in Pomona at one point. So he's like, Jesus, you know, I'm like a Jew, you know. He's like, Jesus, you show mercy on my dad, you know, for being a Jew. No, he didn't say that. But he was like, he didn't say that. But he was like, he goes to this whole thing. And then I swear, he looks at me, goes, we should do some stretching and some yoga. And I go, I felt like I was tripping. Bro, I felt like I was tripping balls. I was like, what kind of yoga? And he starts doing down dogs. He's like, come on, child's pose. And I go, where'd you learn yoga? He's like, we do it at school. And I was like, holy fuck, now I see where the money goes. I was like, because they really dig you. But it's interesting how evolved our kids are going to be.
No, I mean, I love that.
And
I mean,
like,
I thought I went to a progressive elementary school.
Yeah.
Preschool, I mean, we were doing finger paint. Like, you know, we were doing yoga or meditation.
Right, but like my dad, like if I was a kid doing yoga, my dad, what the fuck is yoga? You know what I mean? It would have been like, you know, playing football, you're not boxing, like, you know what I mean? Like, like it was just, it's just a different universe, you know what I mean? But I love it. I love the evolution, you know? That doesn't mean every part of what I grew up with dies inside of me, you know what I mean? Like, so I think we adjust and we expand and we learn, right? You know? What makes a man? I don't know. You know what I mean? I definitely think it's being truthful to yourself and having the courage to look at yourself, really look at yourself, and the courage to try to change the shit you don't like, you know what I mean? But that might be a woman too. That's just kind of human, you
Well,
know?
so that I love that because I've been asking myself this question for a couple of years now.
Right.
I think it started with creating a company called Made Man. I was like,
Right.
what is a Made Man? But what's funny is that the more I think about what makes a great man, it has nothing to do with his gender. Like,
Right.
like
Right.
well, everything that makes a
Right.
great man makes a great woman.
Yeah, exactly.
But the question is, what is then? What is the inspiration you give men to develop a sense of identity that's unique? Like where? How do they begin to form their own conception of self? And maybe it should transcend gender identity. I mean, I think that would be
But I
fabulous.
think that's like, it's crazy that I'm gonna say it, but you know, because it's not the way I would normally think. But I agree with you. I think if you're really saying that, you know, what makes a great man is also what would make a great woman and vice versa, then it's really not really about what makes a great man anymore. It's what makes you the best version of you,
Exactly.
whoever you are and whoever you choose to be, you know?